Today we're going to learn about finding the volume of a rectangular prism using the formulas volume equals length times width times height and volume equals base times height. We know that length times width is the formula for base or area. So, for the two shapes that are on the left, we are going to use the formula volume equals length times width times height. The first thing I need to do when I'm faced with a rectangular prism is I need to find the length. In these cases, when I'm offered unit cubes, I don't have an actual measurement. So I'm going to count the unit cubes to find the length. The length is 5 unit cubes, so I can write that as 5 units. The width of the rectangular prism is going to be 2 unit cubes. That can be written as 2 units. The height of the rectangular prism is going to be 3 unit cubes, and that can be written as 3u. So now I can apply my formula of volume equals length times width times height. And I can substitute in what I know. I now know that the length is 5 units. I'm going to multiply that by the width, which is 2 units. I'm going to put these in parentheses to show that I'm going to be multiplying length times width first to find the area or the base. And then I'm going to multiply these by the height, which is 3 units. So 5 units times 2 units is 10 units squared. It's squared because it's two-dimensional, length times width. And then I go ahead and multiply this by the 3 units of height. When I do this, I get 30 units cubed. And that's my volume. So volume, in this instance, equals 30 units cubed. The units are cubed because they are three-dimensional. Length times width times height. For our second shape, we're already given the measurements of 9 feet, 2 feet, and 7 feet. So we'll follow the same formula. Our length is going to be 9 feet times our width of 2 feet. I'll put them in parentheses, times a height of 7 feet. I'll begin by multiplying my 9 feet times 2 feet, and that gives me 18 feet squared. Again, that's the same thing as base or area. It's two-dimensional. Now I multiply 18 feet squared times the height of 7 feet. When I multiply 18 times 7, I get 126 feet cubed. So the volume is 126 feet cubed. Volume is cubed, the unit of measure, to demonstrate that it's three-dimensional. It's length times width times height. For our last two figures, we're going to be using base times height. It does not matter if I have some pieces missing, as long as I can tell what the length is, what the width is, and what the height is in order to establish what the volume of the rectangular prism will be. So once again, I'm going to look at this figure and I'm going to figure out what is the length of this figure. Well, if I count all of the unit cubes, I get 7 unit cubes. Then I go ahead and I find the width. And if I count these cubes, I'll find that there are 4 unit cubes. Then I can come over here to the height where I can count all of the unit cubes, and I'll find that again there are 4 unit cubes. So now I can find my base by doing length times width. So I would write 7 units times 4 units. That will give me my base times my height of 4 units. So I'm going to first multiply 7 units times 4 units. That will give me 28 units squared, which is the base or the area. And I'm going to multiply that by the height of 4 units. When I multiply 28 units squared times 4 units, it gives me 112 units cubed. So the volume of this figure is 112 units cubed. The units are cubed, again, because volume is 3-dimensional. It's length times width times height. For our last shape, we are given the area of the base, and we're given the height. So we can truly use the formula of volume equals base times height. I have the base of 16 centimeters squared that I'm going to multiply by 3 centimeters of height. Now when it says that the area of the base is 16 centimeters squared, that means that the base of this figure, either on the bottom or the top, because it will be the same, the base, the length times the width, is 16 centimeters squared. So because we've already done that, we just multiply 16 centimeters squared by the height of 3 centimeters. When I multiply 16 centimeters squared by 3 centimeters, I get 48 centimeters cubed. So the volume of this figure is 48 centimeters cubed. The centimeters are cubed once again to demonstrate that volume is 3-dimensional. It's length times width times height.